Hi friends, it's Anna again. I am so thankful to God for the opportunity to share my thoughts and, inspirations with you, sisters, all across the world. I pray that God use my humble thoughts in order to make you think of the important topics. Well, I realize I'm not an expert, and I do not think I am, but God is so good, and He's teaching us in all spheres of our lives. I want to say, before I continue sharing my thoughts on the subject of Christian femininity and modesty, that my path to realizing the importance of Christian modesty and femininity was quite long and I would say difficult, because there are a lot of information nowadays, and sometimes this information is not wise, even on such important topics as modesty and femininity. Well, dear sisters, let's bow our heads in prayer before we begin to talk on the important topic, because we need God's help and His wisdom. Dear God, thank you so much for being with us. Dear God, help us to understand the things we do not understand, and give us wisdom and spiritual discernment to know where is truth and where is lie, and where is lie. Help us to discern devil's subtle lies, and help us live by your word, by your truth. We want to glorify your name. Be with us, our dear Lord. Amen. Well, sisters, previously I covered some topics connected with Christian modesty and femininity, so I shared my thoughts on the important issues connected with the topic. I gave you my definition, and in the second part I talked on the subject of Christian modesty and femininity revealed in speech. Well, sincerely, I planned to go on making videos about clothing, about my standards, my personal standards, about behavior, and some tips to behave more in a more modest and feminine way. But God impressed me with the thought that I should not repeat the thoughts of others, so I'd better give you some ideas about where you can look for great information on this subject. So please visit websites which I found are very helpful and wise. So write down, please, being ladylike as a one word, beingladylike.com, Things.WMV.blogpost.com. It's a blog post by a young Christian woman, or maybe a teenager, but very wise tips I found for myself on this blog post, so I would highly recommend it to you. It shares wise thoughts and pieces of advice, both on the topics of modesty, Christian modesty, and femininity, because very often nowadays some Christian girls and some Christian women who are devoted to the subject of modesty, they do not look quite feminine, I would say. Well, read the blog post and you'll find out what I mean. May God bless you in your journey through this blog post. Also, there is a great website called Teen-Beauty-Tips.com, and there you can find articles on return to modesty. Well, some practical tips, some parameters of modesty. The founder of the website shares with us. Well, for me they were quite important and easy to follow, as well as wise. Also, I would highly recommend you to read a book by Dana Gresh, Secret Keeper. I know it is written for young ladies, and especially for teenagers, for single women, I would say. But, dear sisters, dear ladies, even if you are married, as I am, thanks God for my husband, the book is really thought-provoking, and if you have daughters, it will help you to share the principles of modesty with them in a very simple and attractive way. So, I've recommended some blog posts and websites. Surely you can find other websites, but as for me, the named blog post and website are the best, offer the best material on the subject, and of course the book by Dana Gresh. Thanks her. I'm so happy to read it here in Ukraine, because, well, I haven't said, or maybe haven't mentioned yet, but I'm Ukrainian. I studied English in the institute, and I've never been to English-speaking countries, but it's a great blessing to me to share my thoughts in English, because English is a universal language, and I pray that ladies all over the world who know English may study the mentioned materials and be blessed by applying the advice to their lives. Well, sisters, I'll be finishing. I am finishing, really. I was happy. It was a great privilege for me to share my humble thoughts on Christian modesty and femininity with you. I pray that God bless you and help you to be wise, trying to be modest and feminine, because it's too easy to go to extremes, whether being immodest or being modest but unattractively modest. May God help us to maintain a personal relationship with Him in order to be taught by Him through our thoughts, through the advice of godly women in our churches. And may God help us to promote modesty and femininity, because modern world need them. There is a great need of devoted Christian women and girls who know how to glorify their master by being modest and attractive. God bless you, sisters. Bye.